What's up, guys? My name is Fari, and I build systems that remove bottlenecks within businesses. And I've been documenting my builds since the 1st of June 2025, going all the way up to the 1st of June 2026. And wow, it's just so, insane to think that we've gotten 140 plus days deep in to the daily videos, and somewhat, it feels like we're doing the same thing over and over, of course, which it is. But I realized that, through this period, I now am starting to, somewhat, to be honest, posting videos just for the sake of posting. And I want to change that. I want to ultimately, just bring back the creativity in terms of like trying out different ideas, trying out and experimenting, which I 100% said, I was going to do and I still am going to do. It just, has gotten to that point where it's just, output, output. And now the biggest question that I'm constantly asking myself, making these daily videos and documenting each and every single day is how do I now just, keep it fresh and keep it the same way that it was before. How do I constantly just reinvent and innovate on the things that I'm testing and experimenting as well? And that's why, like, with this specific phase now, I've just been doing these sit downs because I really just wanted to super dial in terms of, seeing how these conversational ones, instead of the, all around tactical ones where I say, hey, this is the input, this is the process, and this is the output of how it's going to function and stuff like that. It's more so just understanding that, sometimes it gets to a point, and it's similar to the things that I said in the video plateau video, where I mentioned that, it feels like it's just output, 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 and creativity is, somewhat taking a dip. And I realized that, and now it's just, how can I focus on course correction and make sure that, what I'm outputting is ultimately building, what we're doing on a day to day, and that we're ultimately, making sure that these videos are still as impactful and also tactical as much as possible. And just realizing that, not every single day is always going to be the best, but ultimately that, we keep the momentum, we keep the streak alive no matter what. I mean, it's literally, I would literally post, today's video like 5 minutes ago. But today's, I just said, no matter what, I made a commitment to myself that even if it's a little bit late, then I'm gonna constantly just, post, those daily videos, and also just bring on a lot more guests. But that ultimately comes as a result of, taking action and doing the thing that needs to be done, and striking a balance between building and also just, also being able to make these daily videos as well. Because I somewhat realized that it's gotten to that point where there's just so many moving parts that I ultimately need to handle on the back end, but also need to, output as well on the video front. And how do I ultimately do this? And I think this ultimately comes from structuring things a lot better than I have been doing, this past week. And that's okay. You can always course correct that and make sure that, you're rapidly iterating and improving on the things that you're doing on a day to day. And that's what I ultimately want to do. I want to make and continue making these videos as impactful and as helpful as possible, because I want to look back, in 10 years from now and say, wow, I came from this place where I was just, outputting each and every single day, and that laid the foundation for whatever it is that, we're going to build into the future and the people that we're going to help along the journey. But that just comes from, being a hardcore builder and just, building each and every single day. I see myself just, staying and just building, even if it's just person that views my videos, as long as I just, keep on outputting and keep on showing that, this is, the journey and this is how it is on the day to day. Now it's just, focusing, recentering in on the things that we initially had the main objective for, which is ultimately using this as a thinking mode and also providing as much value as we possibly can. And that's why this, from now going on, I'm going to try and experiment a lot more. I know I said that in the beginning, and we're still doing that to some extent. It's just more so how can we just reach a new floor in terms of experimentation and also just, execution as well. Constantly adding towards the execution there, and also just making sure that each and every single day we're sharpening the axe such so that we can ultimately build the future. And that ultimately starts from just showing up each and every single day. even if it's, just not the day that you may 100% feel like showing up, you ultimately just need to. It's the mission is more important than, how you may feel today, and just never letting that go. I think that is the mode and the source of inspiration, if you will, that ultimately builds, and fuels me up, each and every single day. It's exciting to know that, hey, we're going to build, the vision of Killer Chaos OS. And for the ones that, have watched any of my earlier videos, you know what I'm referring to. And ultimately just, build cool stuff with cool people as well, and just meet new people, and ultimately use this as a platform to learn and just make mistakes, and also just iterate as well. And also realizing that learning never ends. The inputs, we can control those to some extent, but we can never control the outputs. So each and every single day, it's just building that compounding mode of, extreme levels of intensity, and making sure that we're just building. And I'm super excited, for the future. I'm definitely also gonna bring back the newsletters. I just realized that it's much more better to focus in on the things that, move the needle, the 2 3 things that move the needle, and ultimately build what it is that we're building on a day to day. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to check out my newsletters, the first link in the description, and connect with me on X, LinkedIn, Instagram if you just want to jam and, share some ideas. Always down for that. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.